Welcome back, Nova Nation. This is Kyron Haynes, the Rogue Trader Miniatures, and I'm here with...
I'm Mark Henry of Goblins Hut.
And we're going to do a little bit of an interview. Since for those of you who couldn't make it, we'll let you see what you missed. So, Mark from Goblins Hut, who are you?
I am owner-operator of Goblins Hut. We're the North American distributor focused on importing hard-to-find hobby products from around the world.
And you're based out of Maryland, I do believe, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Nice.
just a 45-minute drive to Nova. It's been nice.
Nice. Okay, so how did you come up with the name of your company?
So I have a 6-year-old daughter and just recently turned 6. And for the longest time, I painted Dada's robots. And anybody who knows my demons that I've made recently knows they're not actually kid appropriate. And so she would lovingly refer to them as Dada's Goblins, which turned into an Instagram handle, which turned into Goblins Hut.
Nice. So you don't make any products, you just import and sell products. So what do you import and sell? Where do they come from?
That's correct. So right now I'm focused on 2 product lines. The first and original was Dirty Down, used in movies and cinema for over 30 years. Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and has made a big splash in the miniatures world in the past 2 years. Recently, as I've introduced it to a nation, which has been a challenge. And then just recently paired up with Chronicle RPGs with their wolf bristle and sable hair brushes, along with a number of other accessories that we're working on bringing into all of the retail stores that we stock as well.
Nice. So how did you get in contact and be able to sell Dirty Down? Because prior to that, as far as I know, and do correct me if I am wrong here, I'm only human. At least I think I'm human. I could be a robot. But you're the only one who sells that. I've never heard of that before you guys.
That's, so we are the North American distributors for it. But
Okay.
Dirty Down is a company based out of the UK. And previously, all of their products, due to them being a substantial investment to import and get across the sea, being flammable liquids and aerosols, you can't go small. You have to go all in or nothing, because you pay for a pallet, whether you buy a pallet or not.
So you went all in, and it paid off in the end.
Yeah, in order to start, it was available in Europe, and Dirty Down actually used to be split into 2 product lines: Model Mates as a miniature focus, and Dirty Down as cinema focused. And the Model Mates line was, some people who have been in the hobby for quite a while, was focused on model trains and scale modeling, and they dropped that line, not because it wasn't successful, it's just the movie industry has a lot of money.
Yeah, it does.
And they buy the sprays by the pallet. So they consolidated everything in, and the story, how I came across it, is a much longer one.
Well, we got time.
Okay. So I used to work in the event industry in operations for almost 17 years. That was a whole nother world, but then COVID hit. And you can imagine special events, you hit a brick wall. All of a sudden we went from a small company with almost 45 employees to nobody. We had to switch gears, and Maryland had a lot of initiatives that allowed us to take PPP money and turn it into overhauling our sewing department to produce gowns, masks, gloves, along as learning to import and distribute all of those things as well. So I found myself very quickly learning the ins and outs of importing from all over the world and managing those shipments, as well as also learning the online marketplace side of things to resell that to Americans here. And even that, once it's set up, pretty much runs itself.
Okay.
And so I found myself with a lot of hobby time and no job. And started the project that I lovingly call my COVID Demons, which is a Demons of the Ruined Storm Warhammer 30K army that was really just based around the grossest stuff I could find.
Okay.
I was really struggling, though, with my scheme, trying to take things up a notch, and I had never really stepped into that hyper grim, dark, aged, desaturated look. And I knew I wanted to learn that, and I came across a tutorial by a guy named Luke Mockridge on Instagram, which really credit me with sending me down this path.
Okay.
And I saw couple of series of photos on a painting tutorial. I was like, no way you can do that with what he says you can do. No paint does what he says. But I searched all over and I was like, I'm going to buy it anyways, right? You see a tutorial, you buy all the paints that are involved there. And I couldn't find it. It was Model Mate's Rust Effect. It didn't exist like anywhere, except I came across a massive Voodoo page by, it's a blog by Roman Lapat and many others. Got that name pronounced. So I came across his massive Voodoo page, and down in the comments under one of his tutorials that he did with Model Mate's Rust Effect, it said, somebody posted, hey, you know, they rebranded to Dirty Down. I also couldn't find that anywhere. And there's a reason for that. It wasn't available in North America. But I did find a eBay listing where I could pay 20 bucks and $30 shipping, because as flammable materials, it can only be shipped in very specific ways legally. So I paid $50 for 25 milliliters worth of paint. Got it here, I tried it out, and I immediately spent $200 more on this, because I said, if they cancel this again, like they did with the Model Mates, not knowing the history, not knowing why, I at least want enough paint to paint my army. That turned into developing an Instagram following, social media following, which turned into, okay, I'm going to dip my toe, finding out after emailing Dirty Down, you know, plenty of people before me had reached out trying to stock it in the US, but nobody wanted to go full invest. And I'm not somebody to take risks. I don't gamble. There's a reason why I stayed in my same job for 17 years. But this was the first thing where I knew. You knew. That other people had to see this, that I was so excited there's a magic. People call it talent in a bottle, magic in a bottle. It spread rapidly, very, very quickly across all forms of social media, because nothing does what Dirty Down does. And being able to share that sense of wonder that I had, it's very rare that you see something in the hobby where you go like, I've never seen anything like that before, rather than being an iteration or a built upon something that already exists. And this was that product for me. Just blew me away to this day.
So you make the comment about how we call it magical sorcery. I learned about it only recently, and one of the members of the Nova Open, one of our owners, was talking about it. He has sorcery in a bottle. He's like, you just throw it on stuff and it makes it done. And I'm like, okay. And he shows some of your videos, some of the other videos online, and we jokingly make the joke, it's just sorcery in the bottle. Yeah,
I still do the time-lapse videos now, because nothing beats that moment where you see that wild shift in color, where you paint it on and you get a multicolored effect. It's so hard to draw comparisons. But you know, the easy thing that I say is, like, you know, if it's good enough for Disney, it's good enough for us. In the miniature painting world, if it can, you know, be in the Mandalorian and Ahsoka, like, why not? In Warhammer.
Exactly. So how does this sorcery in the bottle work?
Oh my gosh, I wish I knew. It would help me explain to people.
It would. So it's really sorcery in the bottle. We go boom.
Yes, it's literally sorcery in the bottle. I wish I knew. After, you know, we got the first batch, I sold out. The first round I sold out in a day. The second round I sold out in 3 days. I got 1,000, sold out in 3 days. Got 9,000, I sold out in 3 weeks. And then it went from there, and I went back to the owner of Dirty Town and I said, look, it would really, really help me pitch this if I understood the mechanics and could relay to people how best to use it and how to augment its use. And he said, Mark, you know, there's a reason why nobody else has made this product in 30 years. And it's because I'm not going to tell you.
You know what? That's good that he keeps his secrets.
And he also lets me blame him whenever people ask me that question.
Done. Good. Now you have a scapegoat. I love it. Okie dokie. So you also sell other products. So let's talk about Chronicle. So you sell Chronicle stuff.
Absolutely. So after Dirty Down, you know, you can't build a business on just one thing. And as successful as Dirty Down was, I knew I needed to branch out. But I was looking for something special, not something that everybody could have or that fit a company that has 500 products, that's a lot of SKUs to manage. And as a small business, just stepping into it, despite learning distribution, I wanted a product that I could actually get behind like I could with Dirty Down.
Yeah.
And when you're working in social media space, you make interesting connections. And I ended up talking through Thomas Leaf on Instagram with Will from Chronicle about what their brushes had to offer. And I really liked how disruptive they were being in the space. I really liked how high of a quality of a product you could get and still have it be affordable. And I really liked the way Dirty Down takes the fear out of weathering because it's water soluble and you can remove it. I really liked how they took the fear out of using high quality brushes like Kolinsky Sables by putting them at a price point that, even somebody that's just starting out to paint can step into. And even if you haven't learned brush technique, all of that, the brush that you use really does impact the quality 100%. Of your painting. And having it be at a price point where anybody could pick one up and say like, I'm not spending $20 on a Kolinsky Sable brush, so I'm never going to buy one, or I'm going to buy one and I'm never going to use it because I'm afraid to. So I was really happy to bring these in, and they've continued to move in that direction with their new Kickstarter with the Teclon Tiger brushes, which is going on now. And as soon as they're in, I'll have them. So
we actually have some of them in front of us. What's the price point roughly that you size for? Because we talked about how the Kolinsky brushes are expensive. I have several, and I've spent everywhere from $10 to almost $50 for a good brush. And I have a quadruple zero, I think it is, which only uses for eyes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, there's been several times where I've just go, you know what? You don't need eyes because I don't want to risk damaging this brush. So what do these roughly go for?
I used to ask so I could get away from the guilt. I used to ask my family for Winsor & Newton Series 7s as like Christmas gifts. Because then I would use them and not feel like I'm wasting my own money by weathering. I abuse my brushes. I mean, Dirty Down's an alcohol-based paint. I use enamels, oils, all sorts of stuff, and I'm not switching brushes between those.
No, exactly.
I value progress over care. But the Kolinsky Sables from Chronicle is, like you mentioned, you might spend $20 on a brush. You can get all 8 of those, your most used levels of brushes, for only $70. Plus, you get like STLs, painting tutorials. Along the bottle, there's QR codes in there.
Nice. Let's see. So you mentioned if I can go a little bit on the personal side, if you don't mind for a second. You said you did event stuff before this?
Oh yeah, 17 years.
Nice. And then COVID dried everything up, and you went on, which happened to a lot of people. But we're glad that you made it on the other side and you found a product you love. So is this your full-time job? Is what you do every day?
I just switched over last October, and that was a transition that I felt confident with. With the old company, the event company, it started out just me and the owner, so I knew the small business run, and we grew it to, like I said, almost 45 employees together. By the time I left, I remember sitting on my back porch going like, I'm sorry, Paul, like this is the name of the owner. Like we're friends, he's a mentor, and also we grew this business together, and I'm stepping away from a number of people that I really cared about. But when you get to work in the same space that is your hobby and you love it, it's a blessing and a curse.
No, I fully understand. So my family, we have a farm and farmers, and it's a very small world. And I went off, I ran away from the farm and did the military and IT, and it's kind of, it's difficult to leave a small thing that you've known your whole life, which is you and your, like, it might not be actual family, it might as well be family.
It's safe, yeah.
It's safe and it's simple, But, well, glad you're here, and that's one of the things I want to mention is, you get to meet a lot of people down. I've seen, like, you have lots of people going through your booth all day long. I was lucky, so I want to say, I forgot to mention about Chronicle, but you guys were the first 2 we had set up. You were set up before my con was set up. You literally, we came in, and funny backstory here for people who aren't at a con, we came in on Tuesday, and I think by Tuesday night, I'm still setting up the convention. I was working until almost midnight. You guys are done. Everything's good to go.
I think that's a combination of my neuroses and focus on planning and Will from Chronicles exact opposite, spontaneity and just ability to roll with it.
Yeah.
Which causes me worlds of stress. But but it meant that by 2 days before the con was even set up, we got a breather. And that was really valuable. I think it was worth it.
It was another thing to mention, funny side story, is that we had a lot of other vendor people come in and was like, when did they get to you? I'm like, oh, they've been here since Tuesday. People thought you said like in the middle. I'm like, no, they've been ready to go. Like we had, before the con was even open, like I came over and talked to you guys. We had customers going over and talking to you guys before the con was even open.
Yeah.
And you were set before I was set up.
Well, part of the fun with having such a unique series of products, especially stuff that you can stand behind as a hobbyist, to say, I use this, I know how to use this, and here's how you use this, is being able to make great friends with people on social media or people that come by booth, and just today I saw at least 3 people who came up to the booth and greeted me at Adepticon and were able to come by again here at Nova and just to say hi, and it's a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful feeling.
That's another thing. You kind of started on that thing, but you've met a lot of your fans here. How does that feel? Like you said it's a wonderful experience, but like, how does it feel just meeting everybody and getting to put a name to the face and having them put a face to your name?
It's such a strange experience.
Yeah.
Because it's so many people have already said this, I bet already. People by. It feels like the first days when like World of Warcraft was a thing, and you knew people by their gamer tag.
Yep.
And if you were on that dorky level where you met those people in person for the first time and still used the gamer tag, it's a lot like that, where you just want to use them by their Instagram handle, not even their face. And there's this moment where you approach a person and you're just like, hey, because you know them, but they don't necessarily know what you look like. And I run into that situation all the time because I don't put my face out on my Instagram. Yeah. But I know plenty of people, and you forget, like, I'm Goblins. Wait, Goblins Hut. Wait, I'm Mark. Good to meet you.
Okay, and you say you do time lapse. Do you do YouTube, Instagram, TikTok?
Ooh, it's hard not to be in all the spaces. Instagram is really my primary focus, but I've relied a lot on the people that I've developed relationships with to have platforms in other spaces. Affiliates on Twitch.
You do Twitch streaming?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have affiliates on Twitch.
Oh, you feel, okay.
Plenty. Too many to name. Dr. Rhino, Skelly B. Oh no, I'm gonna miss name dropping so many people.
We're just gonna skip that before we get ourselves in trouble. Let's get ourselves in trouble.
Oh, no, will I? Well, on YouTube, there's plenty of people. That was the first step, right?
Yeah.
Is getting word out.
Yeah.
And the hype of the product line went faster than I could keep up with it. So like the first people that I reached out to was like Black Magic Craft and Midwinter Minis, and but then Duncan Rhodes came out with a video. And,
really, Duncan did?
Yeah, and Ninjon came out with a video, and a bunch of people who I didn't necessarily get to, and it developed Dirty Down it developed an almost cult following, where people have and because just shake the bottle. That's all you need to do is shake the bottle. But because there's a nuance to using Dirty Down, that's just shake the bottle. Everybody develops their own superstition around using it, and word spreads so fast about best practices that just being able to have conversations with all sorts of people after they discovered it on their own is a wonderful experience.
So you mentioned that. So I mentioned earlier we had one of the guys from Owners of Nova mentioned Dirty Down. We talked about like sourcing the bottle. I never heard before he mentioned that, and then I swear to God, the next day I'm on TikTok. Yeah. I see a product with somebody else, and I go, okay, cool, like. Then I went over to Instagram. I went to Instagram, and you see a product. And now that someone mentions me, my phone's listening to me. My Siri could be just listening in too much. Siri, hi. Yeah. Please don't. Please don't give me trouble. But no, so I want to ask 2 more things, and then we'll let you go for the night. What's next for you? Like, would you have any other products on the line? Anyone else trying to do things? What's your next goal? What's step?
So I mentioned the Teclon Tiger brushes. That's a Kickstarter with Chronicle. Yeah. So once that's fulfilled, we'll stock those as well. You can purchase some of this stuff directly from our website, goblinshut.com, but don't do that. go to your local retailer, support your friendly local game store, the people that provide the spaces for you to play and hobby, and go ask them to come to me. With Dirty Down, we're an exclusive distributor, and with Chronicle, we carry almost all of anything painting associated. With Dirty Down, the next big product that we have in the works is we're actually community sourcing a lot of community developing a lot of we're community developing the product, and we're getting input from a lot of people on sort of gore effect, which is like a near and dear to my heart thing. I mentioned the COVID demons earlier.
Yeah.
And that is a sort of blood effect unlike anything else you guys have ever seen from other companies, at least in the miniature painting world. And so I would love people's feedback, and that will soon develop over the next, there's the dangers of talking about time. Let's call it 9 months.
9 months?
But you can come and see it at the booth at Nova, and if not at Nova, I'll have it at every convention until it runs out. My product sample runs out.
Nice.
And we'll be taking feedback on what you guys really look for in those sort of lines of effects.
So just some kind of caveat to the last thing. What's your end goal? Like, do you have a big plan for the future? What do you want? What's your big goal? What did they say? Shoot for the sky goal. What's your, if I could have it, goal?
You know, on a personal and professional level, it's kind of counterintuitive. It's almost aim low. You know, I've worked in a very fast-paced event world where you can work 40, 50 hours without blinking an eye, really, without sleep. And my goal, shifting gears into Goblins Hut, was to spend more time with my family, to be more present, to be around my daughter more often. And so personally and professionally, I would like to still curate this and add to this series of products, even from other manufacturers, to really be able to stand behind and provide these products to people in a way that I can communicate how to use and teach and just have value added. And if that's the one step, if that's all that happens, just despite growth, you know, we're in almost 200 retailers this year.
Yeah, wow.
But if the only growth beyond that 200 retailers that happens is continuing to see people and teach people, you know, my mission's fulfilled.
Good. Well, I'm glad you came on. Thank you for that. And go give them a check out. And like he said, if you can sign the stuff to a local hobby store, do that. And that's what basically they want to know, is to support, you know, small mom and pops. Because without them, most of us would have nothing. So thank you all, and I'll see you on the flip side. Stay safe.
Thank you.